What's up everybody, Brian here for Work to Game, and today we're talking about patch notes for patch 4.3 for Stormblood. Now, if you haven't seen a patch notes video before, what we're going to do here is pretty much just read the patch notes, and hopefully, whether you want to or not, you can read along. I'll include a link in the description below for you in case you want to do that, or you can kind of just listen and get all the details as we work through the patch notes itself. Now, also, this is going to be a long video, so what we're going to go ahead and do is that if you look here in the sections, we've got playable content, battle system, items, system, and known issues. We're going to break up the patch notes that way. So it's all one video, but if you look in the description, if you want to jump to a specific topic, you can check that. You can jump to what you're most interested in, and we hope you check out the whole video. But we understand it is substantial and there's a lot of information. Some of it might be relevant to you, and some of it might not be. But without further ado, let's go ahead and dive right in. Now, we got two kind of housekeeping notes here. First is that the following quests and duties are scheduled to be released with patch 4.31, which is the ultimate fight. So that's going to come probably here in a couple of weeks. The Heaven on High and Further Hildebrand Adventures is going to come in 3.5, which is usually about 6 weeks from the release of this. So that's thinking that in your mind. And then the following quest and duties for Eureka is going to be 4.36. So sometime after the middle of the patch. I'm kind of disappointed that we're seeing that much of a stagger. I know I was hoping for more, at the release of it, but there is still a lot to cover with this patch. If you haven't seen the trailer, you can do so on YouTube or right here. We're not necessarily going to watch it because that would just add to the overall grand length of this video. So patch 4.3 contains content that can only be accessed by registering, obviously, the expansion pack. So whenever they denote any particular patch, 2.x, 3.x, 4.x, that means you got to have Realm Reborn for it, Heaven's Word for it, or Stormblood for that content to be applicable to you to receive. So at first, playable content, Final Fantasy XIV Stormblood, we've got quests. So new main scenario quests have been added. You can see some pictures here that they've kind of teased these already previously in various news posts. But we can see Gotsetsu and Tsuyu, man, bad at this. Disciple of War Magic level 70, and you are going to kick this off from Alpha Node, and is starting in Ruby, the Ruby's Bazaar offices. Now, every quest after that has been redacted, and you can see that with the question marks. So, they do that a lot, especially when it comes to main scenario, to hopefully avoid spoilers for you. Chronicles of New Era quests have been added, so we're still focusing in on the 4 lords. So this is going to start in the Ruby Sea, as long as you're up to speed, and you need to talk to Bunshin in this case. And then you must obviously complete the Chronicles of New Era quest and Auspicious Encounter for this to be accessible. So up next we got Return to Ivalice. This is going to kick off in Kagane. You need to talk to Lena, and then obviously you need to complete the Chronicles of New Era, A City Fallen, for this to be able to pick up. And then everything else, all the quests that are related apparently for Chronicles of New Era have been redacted, which is interesting because there's one that says level 1. It is important to note that sometimes there are typos in the preliminary notes. So just keep that in mind as well. So new side story quests have been added. These apparently take place after some redacted main scenario quest. So they say they become available after progressing through the 4.3 main scenario. Then you have the Doman Enclave, and it starts with It Takes an Enclave. Doman Enclave is where it starts, and you need to talk to Kozakura, and then you must complete the quest 8001 Farewells for that. Custom deliveries. The seaweed is always greener on somebody else's lake. You dream. Sorry, I love that song. You talk. It's in Kagane, and you talk to Kojin, the Kojin hireling, to kick that one off. Players must first complete the scenario and Non-Forgotten, Non-Forsaken, and the 2 princesses of Shunnoshato. And then up where they trade all day in the sun. That's the Ruby Sea, and you talk to Kurani. Players must first complete the quest, The Seaweed is Always Greener. The Namazu Beast Tribe quest have been added. Please note that only the disciples of Hands and Land will be allowed to progress through the Namazu Beast Tribe storyline. I'm really happy they've added gatherers to this. If you weren't aware, you can do it via crafting and gathering for this Beast Tribe quest, and I think that's really exciting. Got some really cool screenshots there. And then the Beast Tribe settlement can be found at the location below, where players will be able to purchase unique items from their local vendor. The vendor will become available upon completing the quest, one size fits all. So the Azim step, and they've added an aetheryte to this location, and we'll show that on the map here. Following the addition of the new settlement, the location of the chest found via the Galkison treasure maps near this location has actually been adjusted. And then you can see it here, located on the map. So the Azim step, new aetheryte, which is great. It's going to make it a lot easier to be able to jump in and jump out for that. Any experience received upon completing these requests will be adjusted accordingly. So Beast Tribe main quests. Something fishy this way comes. I love the localization team. So the Azim step, the found rolling Namazu players must first complete the quest. In Crimson, they walked and Kurobana versus Gyron. The quest Kurobana versus Gyron is unlocked by completing 2 series of quests. One beginning with the quest Perchant to Jaime. Oh man, gosh. And the other beginning with the quest Courage, the Cowardly Lupin. So then we have the one size fits all, and then obviously some more redacted quests as well. So Beast Tribe Daily Quest. To unlock Namazu Daily Quest, players must first complete the Beast Tribe Quest one size fits all. When undertaking Namazu Daily Quest, the objective will change depending on your current crafting or gathering class. All necessary materials will be provided to crafters with every quest. The required recipes can be found under the Special Recipes tab in the crafting log. And then players will, however, be required to provide their own catalysts. Materials requested when playing as a gatherer can only be collected while undertaking each quest. Furthermore, these materials will not be listed in the gathering log, but will appear in the duty list. Bait required to complete quests as a fisher can be purchased from vendors at the Azim step. An additional vendor will appear at the Beast Tribe settlement upon completing the Beast Tribe quest, one size fits all. Beast Tribe currencies. Player will earn Namazu Koban by completing the Namazu Beast Tribe Daily Quest, and the amount of Koban currently held is displayed in the currency window. So now we get into the Doman Enclave reconstruction effort. What this is apparently like you sell stuff to the shops, and then that helps them rebuild. Let's see here. Oh yeah. Players can now donate unneeded items to help supply and finance the reconstruction of the Doman Enclave. In exchange for items donated, players will be able to receive a gratuity that amounts to slightly more than what would normally be received when selling items to a vendor. Please note, however, the Enclave has a limited weekly budget and can pay out gratuity for donations. The budget will be set each week, Tuesday at 1 a.m. PDT. As players make contributions, the Enclave will grow and change over time. If for any reason the item is donated by mistake, any of the last 100 donation items can be reclaimed, recurring a small transaction fee. Please note, however, reclaimed items will no longer contribute to the Enclave's reconstruction. If you wish to reclaim an item, we strongly advise that you do so immediately, as the items that will in the reclamation box will be removed and rendered irretrievable upon logging out or changing areas. So for the requirements, you need to be obviously level 70. The Doman Enclave's location, and Kawazakura is the person you want to talk to after completing 1001 farewells. So treasure hunt. Addition adjustments have been made to the rewards available in the Lost Canals of Uzanar and the Hidden Canals of Uzanar. And that's just all they say. So the granted free companies. The following additions and adjustments have been made to Adventure Squadrons. The number of dungeons available in the command mission have been increased. So, if you're not aware, your squadrons, you can take them now into the Arm Vale, Brave Fox, Longstop Hard, and Some All. So I think out of all three of these, this is probably the hardest dungeon, the Arm Vale. So that's going to be great to see that continue to expand. A glamour dresser and armory has been added to the Grand Company Barracks. So this is really handy. We were talking about this on stream, where essentially right now this is only in the inn room. Now it's going to be in your Grand Company Barracks as well as an armory. These new furnishings can also be used to select glamours and for squadron members after selecting a piece of gear that applies glamours. 3 tabs will appear to cast glamours window, inventory, armory chest, glamour dresser, and armoire, which is great. So the squadron members' gear can now be dyed. The confirmation prompt when applying glamours has been adjusted. Players can now craft items and repair gear in the Grand Company Barracks. The display in the limit break gauge when depleted after using the command execute limit break has been adjusted, and locking the order hotbar will now be displayed to close button at the top right of the hotbar. New craftable items have been added to the company workshop. The following additions and adjustments have been made to the subaquatic voyages. New voyage destinations have been added. New items have been added obtained through subaquatic voyages. The maximum rank for submarines has been increased from 20 to 30. The maximum number of vessels allowed has been increased from 2 to 3. So housing updates. The new estate vendor NPC, the Journeyman Scavenger, has been added. This NPC shares some of the functions of the Calamity Scavenger. The following items have been that allow players to employ material suppliers, junk mongers, armor menders, and stewards with new appearances have been added. So you can add some Namazu to your house if you so choose. The furnishings from Final Fantasy XIV's Furnishing Design Contest have been added. So you can learn more about the Furnishing Design Contest here at the link, which will be obviously in the description below for the notes. And then you can see some of the pictures for, it looks like a picnic set, some chairs, and some really good stuff. So bravo to everybody who designed some furniture there. And then additional furnishings have been added. You can see those kind of displayed here. The message book furnishing has been added. And so message books allow visitors to leave messages for estate owners as well as like estates to show their appreciation for the decor. Setting a message book. A message book can be placed inside the free company estate, private estate, or an apartment. In case of the estates, there are 2 versions of the message book, one for indoor and one for outdoor use. Please note that you may only set up to one of each at any given time. Message books cannot be set in the company workshop. While the message book is primarily for visitors leave message, the estate owner can also set a greeting for messengers for visitors. Moreover, notifications will be set to the owner each time a message is written in the message book. Notifications will be enabled by default, but can be disabled in the character's configuration menu's log window settings by selecting a log under the log filters, choosing an announcements tab, and unchecking the message book alert box. That, I think, in and of itself probably needs its own little guide, because I don't know if anybody's going to be like, oh yeah, just click on here, then click this, then uncheck this, then hit apply. Message privacy settings. Entries left in the message book are set to public by default, allowing anyone to view them. However, they can be set to private at the owner's discretion. Writing in the message book. Players may leave one message in an estate book per day per character. Permission to leave messages will be set every day at 8 a.m. PDT. Messages can also be deleted by the player who pinned them, as well as by the estate owner and those who have the right authorization. Before leaving an estate, visitors can show their love for the house and its decor by leaving a like in the message book. Characters are granted 10 likes to distribute upon the first viewing a message book, and accumulate an additional 5 likes per day at 8 a.m. PDT, up to a maximum of 50. You cannot like your own estate. The following category has been added to the free company hierarchy settings, housing to the message book. So this is where you're going to be able to kind of control who can do what with the message book. The following category has been added under shared estate settings, which is the message book. New orchestrating roles have been added. The number of aquariums that can be placed in an apartment and estate has been increased. So private chamber or apartment has gone from 1 to 4, cottage is up to 6, house is up to 8, and mansion is up to 10. I think some of this is a typo because everything's going from 1, but I haven't got into aquariums, so maybe I'm wrong, but regardless, happy to see for those who want more aquariums. This update will be included in patch 4.3, but due to a critical issue, the number of aquariums will temporarily be limited to 4 per estate. Players will be informed when the issue has been resolved. Details are under the known issue section, and we thank you for your understanding and cooperation. So ignore all these numbers and just assume 4 until otherwise noted. So they have added a new aquarium fish. New aquarium fish have been added. New seeds for flower pots have been added. So they say they are called the Delilah bulbs. Delilah bulbs can be purchased from the following NPCs. So you get the material supplier in Mist, the beds, the goblet, Shirogane, and the apartments. The music for housing districts can now be switched to that of their respective city states. So that's going to be under the sound configuration and sound. And you see a little checkbox that says Enable City State BGM. So for the Manderville Gold Saucer, new triple triad cards have been added. The scoring system for the fashion report has been adjusted to make it easier to earn marks. The following additions and adjustments have been made to Chocobo races. Players can now register Chocobo races via the Duty Finder, matching with any player within the same data center. That's fantastic. Following this change, players will be unable to use the party chat during the Chocobo race. However, we plan to restore this functionality in a future update. When registering for a race alone, players will be able to be assigned a race class based upon their Chocobo's rating. When registering as a party, players will be assigned based on the lowest rated Chocobo in the party. Attributes of all of the Chocobos will be synced to the lowest rated Chocobo. Abandoning the duty, selecting withdrawal, or allowing the timer to run out will count towards the cooldown penalty for the Duty Finder. The accordance with these changes, speaking with the race Chocobo registrar in the Chocobo Square will now open the Duty Finder. Please note, however, Chocobo races tutorials and challenge races can only be undertaken by speaking with the race Chocobo registrar. And the Chocobo race tutorial has a 15-minute time limit. New category races, Chocobo races, party member has been added. The race classes will be determined by the lowest rated Chocobo in the party, and they pretty just much are summarizing what we just said again. And they said the race class has been adjusted as follows. So as of patch 4.3, Chocobos with a rating of 30 can no longer participate in R60 races. Eligible races will now be confirmed under the Chocobos tab of the Gold Saucer window. So 1 to 20 is maiden class, 21 to 40 is 40, and then they 60, so pretty much it looks like it's on par with the highest level listed out here. So, up next, the entry fee for all Chocobo races has been removed and the position of the race Chocobo trainer has been adjusted. The following additions and adjustments have been made to the Lord of Verminion. NPC opponents have been added to tournaments, allowing for participation without battling other players. So the following additions and adjustments have been made to the Lord of Verminion. NPC opponents have been added to tournaments, allowing for participation without battling other players. NPC opponents, the difficulty of these opponents will scale with the number of victories a player has. Advanced rules will not be applied in the battles to NPC opponents, and RP will not be affected by the outcome of battles with NPC opponents. When battling a player's opponents, both combats will earn tournament points at the end of the match, and the winner will be granted a greater number of points. The maximum number of matches during a tournament has been reduced from 30 to now 15. The number of MGP earned by participating in tournaments has been increased, and the following matches have been added to the Duty Finder. So before it looks like player battle, non-RP, and RP, and then tournament. And so now you have those three, and then they're saying Master Battle Hard, Master Battle Extreme, and then Master Tournament. So it looks like at least, we're getting some additions. Usually whenever they take away like options, it's always funny and frustrating. Maybe less funny than and more frustrating. The following additions and adjustments have been made for performance actions. So sounds for the following instruments are now available: the flute, the oboe, the clarinet, the fife, and panpipes. Adjustments have been made to the latency and sound quality for the following instrument sounds: the hoop, the harp, the piano, the flute, and the fiddle. Performance actions can now be used in the following area: the Gold Saucer, Ivory Chapel, and Grand Company Barracks. All musical notes can now be set to individual keybinds when using a keyboard. That's really cool. It'd be really neat if they let you hook up like an actual a USB keyboard as well. Maybe not too much further along. New challenge log objectives have been added. This is really exciting. Forbidden Ice, Forbidden Lightning, Forbidden Ice, and Forbidden Lightning 2. So this is going to be elemental experience points. Defeat 30 ice or lightning aspected enemies no more than 2 elemental levels from your own. So this is really focusing on Eureka and to help you get elemental experience points. And in this case, Gil. So I don't know how much elemental experience, but I'm sure it's going to be based off your current job. So they have, it looks like fire, ice, earth, fire and earth, water and wind, and then bone and ash as various groupings there. And then they have elements 1. Wow, this is cool. So Forbidden Elements 1 and 2, and then Come Play Lord. And this is for the Lords of Verminion, try to help incentivize people to participate in that content. So the following additions and adjustments have been made to the Wanderer's Tales. The rewards available in exchange for Chloe's Gold Certificate of Commendation and Chloe's Silver Certificate of Commendation have been changed. Wanderer's Tales objectives now include all areas of Omega Deltascape, so that's going to be awesome. New emotes have been added. New hairstyles have been added. See here. All right, up next we've got the battle system changes. So actions have been adjusted as follows. So Dark Knight, one of the big ones that people want to see some adjustments to. Don't expect much, but it does seem to be, some of it is significant. Power / Dark Arts potency of 240 has been added, and then Dark Arts combo potency of 440 has been added. Grit MP cost has been reduced. Dark Passenger potency has been increased from 100 to 140. The Dark Arts potency has been increased from 240 to 280. The additional effect of increased enemy has been added, and the recast time has been increased from 30 to 60. So this, I think, outside of it is that you can get increased enemy has been added to Dark Passenger. It's definitely needed. Not necessarily everything I want in it, but it's still I'm still happy to see it. Dark Mind, the reduction of magic vulnerability has been changed from 15 to 30%. Dark Arts effect has been removed from Dark Mind. Dark Side, effect no longer ends upon being incapacitated. That's actually nice. Shadow Wall, recast time reduced from 80 to 120 seconds. That's nice too. So for Plunge, the Dark Arts potency of 340 has been added. The Dark Arts effects of increased enemy has been added, and the delay before using the skill after this action has been reduced. So the potency of 340, that's a nice little boost, and the fact that they have added their Feast of Increased Enemy, I think that's going to enmity, that's going to help as well. Soul Survivor, HP and MP gain while defeating the target marked with another victim has been increased from 20 to 30%. Now restores 20% of maximum HP and MP if another victim status expires before the target is defeated. Okay, so you get 30% if you defeat them. Otherwise, you get 20%. Soul Survivor. Wow. That another victim ability has just gotten a huge improvement. So for Monk, Purification, the additional effect of reduces enmity by half has been added. And then Brotherhood now grants the effect Brotherhood and Meditative Brotherhood to all nearby party members. Players can now receive multiple stacks of Meditative Brotherhood. Well, that seems to be very utility focused right there. Samurai, Jinpu, combo potency has been increased from 820 to 300. Third Eye, damage reduction from 5 to 10%. That's awesome. Shinfu, combo potency from 280 to 300. And then you have Gecko, the combo potency has gone from 400 to 420. Kasha, from 400 to 420 as well. Man, some of these names. Kaza, the combo potency has been bumped from 340 to 360. Merciful Eyes, the additional effect of reduces enmity by 20% has been added. That's actually very helpful to help manage that. What was essentially the joke is like, oh my gosh, they're no one's going to be able to tank for them if they're continuing to increase the combo potency, because the Samurai, if you haven't experienced it, is fantastic. And so I'm happy with that. All kinds of buffs there. So Rogue Ninja, Hide, the effect will no longer be dispelled when using Sprint. Wow, so you can sprint and hide at the same time. So Thaumaturge, aka Black Mage, Ethereal Manipulation in between the lines, the delay before character movement has been reduced, and the delay before character movement, that's for both of them right there. So that's not so bad. Scholar, we see Whispering Dawn. The action category has been changed from a spell to an ability. Oh, okay. Cast time has been made instant. Yep. Healing potency has been increased from 100 to 120. And Aether Pack recast time has been reduced from 5 to 3 seconds. Fey Union can now be interrupted in order for fairies to use another action. And Dissolve Union recast time has been reduced from 5 seconds to 1 second. My dog has decided to join the fray here. All right, so up next we've got Astrologian. Malfic, recast time has been reduced from 2.5 to 1.5 seconds. Same thing for 2 and 3. Light speed MP cost reduction has changed from 25 to 50%. Wow. Reduction to attack magic potency has been removed, and the recast time has been reduced from 150 to 220 seconds. So every 2 minutes you can light speed, you're going to have a reduction change from 50%, from 25 to 50% in your MP cost reduction, and you're not going to suffer any potency loss here. So then you look at this, the 1.5 seconds for these cast times. obviously, I think that this is under the global cooldown, but for the fact is that it was at 2.5, and then if you have enough, speed, spell speed, that actually is going to help reduce that cooldown. So it seems like they're really making Astrologian really kind of be that fast cast, job. And depending, I guess, on your latency, sometimes you might be able to do a lot more movement with that. Aspected Helios recast time from 3 seconds to 2.5 seconds. So that's all. Those are all really good changes. I'm actually curious to see how my Astrologian plays, because that's the healing job that I've been playing the most. So Arcanist, Summer, and Scholar pet actions with cast times can now be canceled when ordered to use a different pet action. That's actually a nice little adjustment. Players can no longer change role actions while the system is checking a member status prior to entering an instance. So I'm assuming that this is about when you're in the bubble before the instance starts. Otherwise, it would not make sense to do that at that point. A new dungeon, the Swallow's Compass, has been added. So this is the new one where they kind of hint at Geomancer. But even in a recent interview, Yoshi said that doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to get a Geomancer. So he could be playing Koi. Who knows? So you need item level 330 or above to be able to enter into this dungeon, and this is going to be a part of the new Expert Roulette. So the requirements for this is that you need to complete the Tortoise of Time or Tortoise in Time quest, and this is going to be accepted at Bunchen and the Ruby Sea. So you'll obviously need to complete the New Era quest, An Auspicious Encounter. So this is tied with the Four Lords, it seems. New trials have been added. So we don't know what it is, so it's rejected. But you need 335 or above to be able to enter. And then looks like some more requirements, and then you must complete the redacted scenario quest. This trial can only be accessed via the Raid Finder, so I'm assuming this is the Extreme Edition as well. And so you can see level 350 or above, 8 players, 60 minutes, makes sense. And then more requirements for who knows what. I'm assuming this is Ultimate, maybe? Wandering Minstrel. Players must first complete blank. So maybe that is the Extreme, and maybe this is just the normal. So we'll see here. Okay. Players will now receive the Power of the Echo in the event all party members are incapacitated during the following trials. Players are incapacitated and having battled enemies for a certain period of time. Increased HP, damage dealt, healing potency, and this effect will be granted 5 stages. So the Jade Stoa, the stack of the Echo will raise by 10% up to a maximum of 50%. Players must have battled their foe for at least 3 minutes in order to receive the Power of the Echo. And then Jade Stoa Extreme, each time a player restarts the aforementioned trial, they will be granted 5% Echo effect up to a maximum of 25%. And if a player restarts after battling for less than 3 minutes, they will not be granted the effect. The Alliance Raid Dungeon, the the Lighthouse has been added. The story for this exciting new raid is written. The guest creator Yatsu Masuna, director and writer of titles such as Final Fantasy Tactics and Final Fantasy XII. The boss designs are courtesy of guest creator Keda Adamada, the creator and director of the Garo series. Prepare for a new chapter and a grand adventure. So level requirement looks to be 335 and above to be able to enter into the Lighthouse. And this is an Alliance raid of 24 players. So you must first complete the quest. Question mark, question mark, question mark. Some more redacted. Role requirements. Parties matched automatically via the duty finder will be comprised of 1 tank, 2 healers, and 5 DPS. And then to start, you can only receive 1 gear reward per week by completing the duties of the Lighthouse. In the event you are rewarded an item in the loot system, you are automatically going to pass on any remaining items. So just be careful on what you roll. Each party in the Alliance will receive its own treasure chest, and the contents of which will be identical regardless of whatever route is taken. Completion reward. Upon completion of the Lighthouse, players will also earn a separate reward once per week. This reward can be exchanged in Ralgrish Reach, the items used to enhance equipment purchased with Algian, Tomestones, and Mendacity. So this is how we upgrade our Mendacity gear. And what's really important is you get it once per week. At some point, those will be lifted if you're not aware. But for the time being, pretty much up until I think 3.4, it's a weekly thing. So you'll probably want to try to get that knocked out as well. So players outside the sealed area during a boss battle can now have the option to move directly into the area and enter the fight. This is going to be really helpful. When the area contains a boss battle is sealed, a prompt will appear. Accepting this prompt will allow you to enter the sealed area. So you're just going to get the option to say yes. Now, if you do get knocked out of the area you return, you're not going to be able to get forced back in. This is only if you have not been knocked out of the area. So I think this is really helpful. Sometimes when somebody goes AFK and nobody knows it, and then all of a sudden you're like, hey, what happened, whenever everybody's pulling quickly. All right, so now the following additions and adjustments have been made to the Palace of the Dead. Changes have been made to obtaining and strengthening Aether Pool equipment. So you have Aether Pool grips. If you have strengthened your Aether Pool arm and Aether Pool armor to plus 10, in addition to clearing the floor 50 of the Palace of the Dead, you can forge an Aether Pool grip. This can be used in exchange for a weapon of your choosing by speaking to the NPC U Ana Kotor in the South Shroud. Please note that creating an Aether Pool grip will reduce the strength of your arm and armor inside the ruins by 10. So obtaining the weapons. To obtain the Aether Pool weapon outside the Palace of the Dead, speak with the NPC U Ana Kotor in the South Shroud. So then they basically break down the weapons and how much you need. So you only need 3 grips in this case to be able to get any of these particular weapons themselves. So strengthening Aether Pool weapons. Upon clearing floor 100, a previously acquired Aether Pool weapon may be enhanced even further by trading in additional Aether Pool grips. So then you can see that listed here. So it looks like you trade in the weapon and 6 grips as well. So it looks like total 9 grips needed for the big weapon, the Kana in this case. While a Palmator of Intuition is in effect, an icon on the map will indicate whether your current floor holds any pieces of the accursed horde. The name Palace of the Dead will be displayed in the rankings page, and music that plays when receiving a reward for completing floor 200 will no longer be looped. So the following additions and adjustments have been made to the Forbidden Land of Eureka Animos. The location of Magicka Melders will be displayed in the map and the minimap. The players can now be sorted by expedition length and elemental level, and the option to prioritize players looking for parties in the player list has been added. That in and of itself is a huge boost. Still want to see level sync. Disappointed we don't see that yet, but being able to just to say, hey, who is searching for a party? That's going to be a huge help whenever you're trying to run a party and everything's going crazy. The weekly reward limit for Omega Sigmascape has been removed, so you can now farm up all of that gear for you if you like. A message will appear if you are applying to join a raid, which causes to forfeit 1 or more weekly rewards for the Savage mode. So you're going to see here the various notes that just warnings, just to hopefully help you not lose out on gear. So the drop rate for legendary, Kamui flies in the Minstrel's Ballad, Shinra's Domain has been increased. So moreover, players can now obtain this item in exchange for tokens when speaking with the with Shina in Ralgur's Reach, the legendary Kami Fife. So you need 99 of those. So that's going to increase the drop rate, hopefully make that easier to obtain. The loot roll for Alliance Raid is now going to be set to greed only. There's no needs in this case. So I guess essentially run it on whatever job you want, and good luck with whatever your rolls entail. The following additions and adjustments have been made to the Raid Finder. Question mark has been added to the Raid Finder, and the Jade Stow Extreme has been moved to the regular duty section of the Duty Finder. So Duty Roulette Normal Raids has been added. So available duties, you're going to see all of Alexander, Gorgas, Midius, and the Creator, and then we've got Omega, Deltascape, and Sigmascape. This category can only be unlocked by completing 2 or more floors within the above duties. So you get bonuses of right now 80 Poetics, 60 of Creation, and 15 of Mendacity. I'm just excited to see this here as well. Some obviously no Bahamut in this case, but it is what it is. So the duties listed within the Roulette Extreme have been changed as follows. So now you're going to see the Swallow's Compass added into this case. Now, they say before Hell's Lid and the Fractal Continuum Hard. Now we just have all 3, which is the perfect, at least the most acceptable amount. Whenever it's just 2, it's always just kind of a big bummer, in my opinion. The following duty has been added to Trials. We have no idea. I cannot wait to play it and find out. The following duties have been added to Mentor. So Compass, the Lighthouse, and whatever the new trial is as well. And the required average item level to register for the Mentor has been increased from 325 to 335. The number and type of tombstones received for completing the main scenario has been adjusted. So before you were getting 200 tomes of Poetics, now you're going to get 300 Poetics, 100 Creation, and 50 Mendacity. this is a nice boost. I'm hoping that the XP as well is being increased in line with this adjustment. Now, again, it's all about making that incentive. And then question mark has been added to the challenges of stone, sky, and sea. So this is where you can kind of check your DPS, make sure that it's on par with some of the challenges that are offered there. Adjustments have been made to the content drop rates of treasure coffers in the following dungeons. So Drowned City is Scala, Hell's Lid, and Fractal Continuum Hard. So what adjustments? I guess we'll have to wait and see. The following item is now available for exchange at Billyboot in Rogers Reach and Satsuna in Kugane. So it looks like the Clan Marks log for 500 Centrino seals for that matter. Players will now be able to exchange Rabanastan coins and one other currency for the Ramoku weave and the polish by speaking with Enshida in Rogers Reach. So it seems like before, you're still going to want to be able to run the first 24 man for Rabanester just so that you can actually get those coins, and you're going to join those coins with the new currency, weekly currency, to be able to upgrade your mendacity items. So if that holds true, then the third one's going to be all three. So we'll be farming a lot of the 24 man here in the coming weeks. So for PvP players out there, PvP actions have been added. Nightwing for Black Mage puts targets and all nearby to sleep for 3 seconds. Summoner, Wither, deals unexpected damage to all enemies in a cone before you with a potency of 1,000 for the first enemy, 25% fall off, 50, and then 75% for any remaining enemies. Now, if you have Bio 3 or Miasma 3 inflicted by you, the timer on those reset, and the additional effect increases target's damage taken by 5% for 5 seconds. Now for the Red Mage, the Monomancy, increased damage dealt to the target by 10% by lowering damage taken by the target by 10%, and the effect ends upon executing the action on a different target. So you're going to set this on somebody, and that's going to be consistent until you put it on somebody else. Now, I'm assuming that if you beat them, that it falls off. So we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to play with that, if it even matters if it falls off at that point, but we'll find out. So PvP actions have been adjusted for the following. And I like that it says actions and then Paladin HP. So there's an HP action for you. HP has been reduced from 15,000 to 14,500. Warrior, in a release, the effect changed the halves beast gauge cost to allows the use of beast gauge without its cost. Duration reduced from 10 seconds to 6 seconds. So in line with the PvE component. Under beast, damage reduction effect duration has been increased from 4 to 5 seconds. So Ninja, Katon, the potency is going up to 1250. For Highton, it's going up to 1250, and the bind duration has been reduced from 4 seconds to 2 seconds. And then Brachtalafaksha, recast time has been reduced by 10 seconds to a total of 30 seconds. And then Samurai, Higinbana, damage over time potency increased from 250 to 300. And then the Tekken Goken increased potency from 1500 to 2000. Knockbacks at distance increased from 6 seconds to 6 yawms to 10 yawms in this case. So Black Mage, Flare, the potency has been reduced from 3,000 to 2,500. That's a bummer. Freeze potency reduction from 2,000 to 1,500. Bind duration reduced from 4 seconds to 2 seconds. Convert, the additional effect, reset swift cast and ethereal manipulation recast timers has been added. And ethereal manipulation, the delay before character's movement, has been reduced. So Red Mage, Corp to Core, the additional effect inflicts target with heavy for 3 seconds. If suffering from Monomancy effect inflicted by you has been added. So if they have the Monomancy, it seems like you get to be able to put a heavy on them as well. Displacement, the additional effect binds target for 2 seconds if suffering from Monomancy effect inflicted by you has been added. So you can displacement and Corp to Core really kind of put some debuffs on them. Bard, repelling shot. Bind duration has been reduced from 3 seconds to 2 seconds. Seems like everything's binding is getting a lot quicker. Cure 2 for White Mage. Healing potency reduced from 5,000 to 1,400. Regen, healing over time potency increased from 2,500 to 1,500. That's a nice little boost. Duration reduced from 18 to 15 seconds. So a little bit more spiky in that case. Less time for that case. And then Fluid Aura. Bind duration obviously looks like it's going to 2 seconds as well. Scholar, Adloquium, healing potency increased from 2,500 to 3,000. Barrier effect changes from nullifies damage equaling the amount of HP restored to nullifies damage equaling half the amount of HP restored. So if you hit it for 3,000, then they've got a 1,500 shield in this case. Eye for an eye, barrier duration reduced from 6 seconds to 5 seconds. Barrier effect striker will deal 10% less damage, duration reduced from 6 seconds to 5 seconds. Then the Astrologian Malefic benefit looks like the Malefic bind duration reduced from 3 to 2 seconds, in line with everything else. Benefic 2, healing potency reduced from 5,000 to 4,500, in line with that of the White Mage. Disable, the reduction in time is from 6 seconds to 5 seconds. So the following PvP actions have been removed: Sleep, Tribind, and Flunge, to make up, I guess, for the changes in the new actions that were added for them as well. So when the bind effect is applied in a PvP action, it will no longer be removed when receiving damage from an enemy. That's a huge change. I guess that makes sense why they have reduced the time limit, but that bind in and of itself could, that's going to be nice, because that means they're going to sit there for at least that 2 seconds, and that could make a huge difference. The following adjustments have been made to PvP traits. Decreased damage taken has been changed from 5% to 3%, so that's a less valuable trait to take as well. The following adjustments have been made to the additional actions. Recuperate, recast time increased from 30 seconds to 45 seconds. So it seems like I'm interested to see how this plays out in Season 8. The following adjustments and additions have been made to PvP teams. Party and PvP team chat can now be used in the Feast team ranked match. It is no longer possible for players to join a PvP team once a season has started. So please ensure that any new members are fully registered before the season begins. So you ain't changing your teams. That's a huge change. Automatic disbandment has been introduced for PvP teams. If a PvP team leader does not log in for 90 days, the sub-leader will automatically be promoted to leader. If the sub-leader is ineligible for any reason, the longest serving member will be promoted to leader. Any team members who are not logged in for 90 days will be ineligible for promotion to leader. In the event that there are no members that have logged in the last 90 days, the PvP team will be automatically disbanded. A 90-day period is counted from the day the team was formed. The availability of frontline campaigns are now changed daily. So they're basically trying to help, I guess, keep those things. I wish they would just make frontlines, and then it would just automatically set the rules in the map that you're on. But that's just me. But anyway, we'll get there. One of the 3 campaigns will be available each day and will open in order as follows. So Borderland Ruins, Seal Rock, and Fields of Glory. So all those, that's going to rotate each day. The available campaign changes at 8 a.m. PDT, and the current available campaign can only be accessed via the Duty Finder. So if you're waiting for a match for the Duty Finder, the campaign changes, your registration will automatically be withdrawn. Frontline campaigns cannot be selected in any other duties in the Duty Finder. The frontline campaign Seal Rock, Shatter, Fields of Glory require a product key for Heavensward to be able to participate in. The following adjustments and additions have been made to Borderland Ruins Secured. So for Borderland Ruins, which that was the first one, the map has been adjusted. The time limit has been reduced from 30 minutes to 20 minutes. Battle High has been added. That's great. Tactical rating changes resulting from a KO have been adjusted. Monster placement has been adjusted. Tactical rating changes have been defeating monsters have been adjusted. Defeating monsters now increases each attacking team's tactical rating based on how much damage the team has dealt, rather than only increasing the tactical rating of the team that dealt the most damage. Each team is dealt rather than only increasing tactical. Okay. I mean, that's not fully registering for me right now, and what that really means. Increase each attacking rating based on how much each team is dealt, rather than only increasing the tactical rating of the team that dealt. Oh, okay. So based off of that, if you have 3 teams competing, that's going to be adjusted based off of like the first, second, and third. So rather than just whoever deals the most gets the most, it's going to be broken up. That's actually an interesting change. Adjustments have been made to the amount of time between monster spawning and despawning. So then the Duty Roulette frontline has been changed to Daily Challenge frontline. The only currently available campaign can be accessed via the Daily Challenge frontline and the Duty Finder. And obviously you need Heavensward to be able to enter in the challenge for frontline. So for Feast, they've adjusted, they've added the following match types have been added. So the Feast Team Custom Match Crystal Tower. It is now possible to invite players to spectate PvP team battles. It is also possible to create a custom match as a spectator. The following adjustments and additions have been made to the Crystal Tower training grounds. The graphical adjustments have been made to the map, and the object placement is now the same in each map. So you can see the layout here, very different. The following adjustments have been made to the feast. Players now return to the team's starting point. So that was how it used to be. They changed it to where you would just return right where you were. Now you're going to return back in your starting point. The adrenaline supply HP increased from 2,500 to 4,000. The Wolf's Heart HP increased from 5,000 to 6,000. The music played during cooling time has been changed, and sudden death's weather effects are now mode specific. Alright, so time remaining and medals held are now displayed in the HUD. In accordance with this change, the HUDs for spectating custom matches have also been adjusted. The color used to display the number of medals each participant will change according to their current status. So light metal, blue, 0 to 100, white, heavy metal, red, maximum medals held, orange. And you can see that here. This is, oh man, this is so helpful. See the job roll in the HUD like that. Claws and fangs, how much time is remaining, and the points. The UI that as it was so annoying, and it was such a pain to mitigate. Now it's so much easier to read, especially if this is going to be up at the top. Each team crest will now be displayed when entering the feast. Team ranked match. Boom, boom. And then you see the team name, so more than just claws and fangs. Thank you. Man, that's going to be great. Adjustments have been made to the party list. The party list that appears when spectating a custom match has also been adjusted accordingly. Displaying information now includes the adrenaline rush status selected and additional action signs up at the 10 enhancements and the enfeebling effects. So you can see that you've marked the various enemy players, and so you can see various status effects and what's on what. Man, this is going to be, I'm really excited about this. The Feast is such a fun bit of content, and it's definitely needed some of these quality of life adjustments. This will hopefully help communicate much easier to be able to see on the list who we should be focusing in on. Who's got the medals? You know, that's always kind of the thing. You don't want to have to sit here and try to look at the UI and try to read and decipher. You want to be able to quickly make those decisions. The enemy party list is also displayed. Gamepad users can select specific enemy party members with LB1, LB or L1, plus the down directional button. So if you press L and hold the LB, for I guess reference for the, you know, like this guy. So the L1, and then you could press up and down on the D-pad. To cycle through the enemy team's list for selecting a target. Mwah! That is awesome. The requirement for the feast training has been changed from 1 player to 1 or 2 players. Okay, that's great. I wish, you know, anything that's more multiplayer here. The following the end of Season 7, the feast is now in preseason. Player rating at the end of Season 7 will carry over to the preseason. Learn more about player ratings here. The current season is scheduled to end in Season 8 will begin on 5/29. All right, items. New items have been added, so we got some new gear sets here. I guess I'm wondering if this is from the new dungeon. That looks cool regardless. Gear based on the Grand Company, the grand prize winner of the gear design contest, Ranged Magic DPS Edition, has been implemented together with gear for other roles based on this design. So the design contest details here, and items added in patch 4.3 will be added at a later date. So new recipes have been added. So recipes added in patch 4.3 will be listed at a later date. Obviously, this is probably on Monday when the patch is being implemented. Certain items released after in or after patch 4.1, such as gear from the Royal City of Ravenester, can now be sold, desynth, or submitted for expert delivery missions. So I'm guessing sold means turned in. Desynth is awesome. Submitted for expert. Okay, but probably not market tradable. That'd be awesome if it was market tradable. The following items can now be painted in imitation square window. The following items can now be equipped by male characters, so you now have your bunny suits for all those who were hoping for it. Craftsmanship recommendation values will now be displayed for recipes in the crafting log. Okay, that's a nice little quality of life feature. Quick synthesis success rates have been increased. All right, thank you. New items are available from Rowena's House of Splendors Script Exchange. New miner and botanist gathering points have been added. Locations of unspoiled mineral deposits in the Azim Steppe have been adjusted. New fish have been added. New items have been added to gathering points. All fishing locations on the Azim Steppe are now at level 60. So all fishing locations in the Azim Steppe are now level 60. The levels of spearfishing locations have not been adjusted. The following adjustments have also been made to accommodate this change. So the salmon roe can now be used as bait in the Azim Steppe fishing locations, and Time War maps can no longer be obtained from Azim Steppe fishing locations. So that's a weird little change there, but okay. The log message will now be displayed upon commencing fishing or spearfishing at locations where quest-related creatures can be caught. Mark for the quest a rousing reunion detected. I guess maybe this changes in line with the gathering quest for the new beast tribe. So then the number of fish that must be caught before swimming shadows appear has been reduced. Players can now speak with Kurani to complete custom deliveries. By completing these custom deliveries, players can receive guild experience points, red and yellow crafter scripts, and red and yellow gatherer scripts as well. So a total of 12 custom deliveries can be made per week, but only 6 to a single client in this case. So the requirements, the seaweed is always greener, so you need a disciple of hand or land around level 62, and this starts in Kugani, and you talk with a Kojin hireling in this case. So you must complete Non-Forgotten, Non-Forsaken, and the 2 princesses of Su no Sato in this case. Players can gain the ability to cast glamours on Kurani by raising her satisfaction level to the maximum. So if you do that, you can be able to dress her up in this case, which some people, I guess, are excited about. New mounts have been added. So you can see here the new mount for the new trial. That looks really cool. Absolutely. New chocobo barding has been added, and the new minions have been added. We kind of saw this in a preview for that perspective. So system updates. So we've new achievements and titles have been added. The following functions have been added for achievements. So the list of achievements nearing completion will now display upon login. When entering an area, a list of achievements that can be earned there will now be displayed. The following, the addition of these new functions in the current area and approaching completion categories have been added under the relevant in the achievements window. Players are now able to perform the following actions while in rooms. So you can synthesize, repair, dye, cast glamour, material assimilation, and retrieve Matera. So cross-world link shells, CWLS, have been added to implement and enable communications between players on different servers. Players will now be able to form cross-world link shells up to 64 players from different worlds on the same data center. Players in a CWLS will be able to see each other's members' online status and invite them to parties via a sub-command. So I'm really looking forward to this. But additionally, cross-world link shells have been added to the chat window. Log filters, text color, and notification sounds can also be adjusted for them. Now, creating one, new cross-world link shells can be formed by selecting cross-world link shell under the social menu in the main menu. And so it looks like they're special, they're keeping it up to 64. And you can create it, but you need more than 2 members apparently. Like if I look at that, within 24 hours, multiple cross-world link shells cannot be created in succession. So basically break it down. It is not possible to create a CWLS with the name that's already in use on the same data center. Free trial players may become a member of a CWLS but cannot create one. Any CWLS that has less than 2 members for 24 hours will be automatically disbanded. Players can only be a member of one CWLS at a time. If you create your own, you will not be able to join another. So there's you only get one, at least right now, and 64 members are the maximum they hold for the moment. Inviting a player to a cross-world link shell, one of the methods below to invite players to CWLS. Invite via subcommand on the players list, such as a friends list or contacts. Invite via subcommand while targeting a player's character. Cross-world link shell invitees. Upon being invited to CWLS, a player will be addressed with the invite to receive on a screen notification. If they accept, they will become a member. If an invite logs out while accepting or declining, the notification will appear again when they next log in. Invitees will appear as such a member on the list, but cannot send or receive messages in the CWLS chat before they become a full member. So the authority of a cross-world link shell. The creator of a cross-world link shell will automatically be assigned the rank of master with the following privileges: invite, removal, disbandment, renaming, promotion, and demotion. The assign and rank of a leader have the following privileges. So member invitation and dismissal. If the master withdraws from the CWLS, the leader, or if there are no leaders, will the member who has been the member for the CWLS the longest will automatically be promoted to master, and then invitees cannot be promoted. Players withdrawing and disbandment. Players can choose to withdraw from a CWLS at any time. If a player transfers to a world on a different data center than the CWLS, then they will automatically be removed. If a player transfers to a different world in the same data center, they can remain as a member. That's good to know. CWLS has less than 2 members, including a master, but not invitees for a full 24 hours will be automatically disbanded. Okay, so that's going to be I'm really looking forward to that system. I think it's going to help everybody. Like, we play on Aether, if you're not aware. That's going to help us communicate, especially when we do various different content with 4.3. So the glamour addresser has been adjusted as follows. Additional items can now be converted to glamours. Glamours in the dresser can now be restored to their original form as items. So signature, spirit bomb, materia, and most ethereal bonuses will not be restored. Items that can be placed in the armoire can now be converted to glamours. Glamour dresser is recommended for storing dyed items whose color you wish to retain. Individual glamours stored in the glamour dresser can now be directly applied to the current equipped gear. This does not require glamour prisms, so you can just apply it as a glamour from the chest without having to build out plates and things like that. That's a huge update. Glamours in the dresser can now be searched using the search for item subcommand and the item search text command. Items converted to glamours will now be bound to you. Stored glamours will no longer be deleted, and gear with durability less than 100% can no longer be converted into glamour. So you're going to have to make sure it's at full repair there for that. Glamour plates have been adjusted as follows. All glamours on a plate can now be dispelled at once. Using the Dispel Glamour function in the Glamour plate window, players can select which specific pieces that they would like to restore to their original appearance and dispel all their glamours at the same time. So you see the little dispel button right there. Glamour plates can now be linked to gear sets. Select a gear set and link a Glamour plate subcommand to choose the plate. They said this was coming. That's actually, I think, going to be very handy, so you don't have to constantly keep reapplying if you so choose. Glamours applied directly to pieces of gear will be overwritten once a plate is applied to that same gear. This function can only be used within cities, the Gold Saucer, residential areas, inns, and the Ivory Chapel. Current glamours will not be overwritten by plate glamours when you change to a gear set with a linked glamour plate outside these areas. Glamours of the gear for which do not meet the requirements or which cannot be equipped with other selected pieces of gear will also not be applied. So they've added some icons here, basically to help in the help window. This item can be stored in the armoire. This item can be converted to the glamour for the dresser, and this item can have a crest applied to it. So more helpful little information on the windows themselves. So additional items can be retained via ventures. So palladium ore, chromite ore, and Gurabani spring water. And then you can get a Torani log, Rhea, and Azim cotton boil. For botany and then fishing, you can get snailfish in this case. The duty recorder has been adjusted as follows. So before you could do Jade Soa and Extreme, and now just Sigmascape 4.0 Savage. So this is kind of I was thinking this is going to be a bigger thing than it is, and it's just apparently for one particular duty now. And I was hoping that they would keep adding more and more so that you could do these recordings, but I guess we'll have to wait and see if they make that change in the future. Players recruiting members for an alliance or custom match can now choose which alliance or team to participate in. So custom match, and you can see the claws, the fangs, and spectators. So that is really interesting to see. Let's see how that kind of plays out in the long run. A new category is added to Unending Journey, Duty tab, Other Duties. Cutscenes from the Palace of the Dead, Forbidden Land, Eureka have been added under the Other Duties. Okay, that's good to know. Map icons for non-player party members have been adjusted for easier differentiation between members. So you can see members, like pets, I guess. Chocobo companions, carbuncle, aggies, fairies, and turrets. The following features have been added to the timers interface. A list of items currently requested for custom deliveries, and the Doman Enclave reconstruction effort timer. That's going to be helpful. The unlock quest for Summoner and Scholar will now appear together in the side quest section of the scenario guide upon completion of the level 30 Arcanist quest. The name of the emote, Wink, has been changed to Wink Right. That's the one. That's what we've been waiting for. The following adjustments have been made to the HUD layout window. Filter names has been adjusted before to all, and this is basic. Okay. Tooltips will now appear for each filter. Full screen color filtering options have been added to the accessibility settings in the system configuration, Windows and Mac only. So you can see that you can adjust various things. They showed this off in stream. This really will hopefully, if you have colorblind issues, you can hopefully help, and this will hopefully be a huge improvement. So you can kind of range and scale various values, and that's going to show up for you there. So play around with that and let me know if you like that change at all. The following options have been added to the character configuration interface. So UI settings, achievements, display achievements, nearing completion upon login. And then you have chat log settings, general tab, log text and colors, and the cross-world link shell, filters for the link shell, and then message book alerts, and then notification sounds for the cross-world link shell. The following options have been added to the system key configuration interface. So mouse settings, Windows and Mac only, expanded mouse functionality settings, so hardware cursor selections, sound settings enable city, state, BGM in residential areas. The following options have been added to the keybind menu. Shortcuts tab, cross-world link shell, chat tab, temporary switch chat mode to cross-world link shell, switch chat mode to cross-world link shell, and then system tab, Windows and Mac only, toggle color filter settings. The following additions and adjustments have been made to text commands. The following text commands have been added, so you see the CW link shell spelled out, aliases CWL, and then CW link shell usage, and then so it's going to be /CWL. Bummer, I was hoping it would just use L and a point and a number point, but I guess maybe crossworld doesn't count against your link shell. Anyway, maybe we'll see that. And then YOLO dance. So then you can see that. Let's see here. And then ludicate, ponder, left wink. So one of the new emotes. Looks like we're getting left wink and right wink. New placeholders has been added for the feast. E1, E2, E3, E4. So this is, I think, is going to help you target. So you could say enemy 1, enemy 2, enemy 3, 4, as we saw as a part of the party list menu. So the name and the player and the enemy's party list. Okay. New phrases have been added to the audio translation dictionary. New music has been added. Transfer characters, save data from PS3 to PS4 is no longer available. Wow. Well, I mean, PS3 has been almost done for a year, so that kind of makes sense. And then known issues. An issue when in placing a tabletop aquarium on top of another furnishing and then repositioning that furnishing allows the aquarium to clip through other aquariums. We strongly advise all players from trying to replicate this issue. All furnishing, including aquariums that are overlapping or clipping, may permanently deleted when the fix for this is issued and is implemented. So that's just beware. If you try to check that out, you could lose it whenever the fix is, and it could be a hot fix or it could be 4.31, 4.35, or 4.36. Guys, this is the preliminary patch notes. Thanks so much for hanging out. Sorry for all the various jump cuts. I've got family here over the weekend, so it's been a little bit fun and interesting morning for patch notes readings. Let me know in the comments below if you guys got any questions, comments, concerns, what you're thinking, what you're excited about. Personally, I think I'm really looking forward to that patch because that's going to make it feel all the content is completed. We have to wait, looks like a couple more weeks for Heaven on High, and that just is a bummer in my mind. But all in all, I'm really excited to check out some of the PvP adjustments, Season 8 of the Feast, and obviously the new Alliance raid. Let me know what you're excited about. Let's have that conversation. But for Work to Game, my name is Brian. Thanks so much for watching this extended and long video. I wish you the best, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Hey, it's me. Thanks so much for watching this video. You should click here to subscribe and here to maybe check out some more of our videos. So again, thanks for watching. We hope you like this video. We hope you subscribe and join our community. Let us know in the comments below what you think, and we'll see you next time. Bye.